What's good, guys? LM7 here, and like I mentioned in the full 2017 summer set review, that I was going to do a couple comparisons. Well, I decided to actually do it, and there will be two comparisons for this particular wave. The first one is the fighter tank, and the second one is the Jedi Starfighter. Obviously, this one is the fighter tank. Alright, so the two sets we are comparing is 76-79 Republic fighter tank and the new 75-182 fighter tank. Okay, so just from looking, you can tell that the other one is quite large compared to the newer one. But first, some quick little statistics. This set was $49.99 and has 592 pieces. This one has 305 pieces and is $24.99. So the new one is half the cost and about half the pieces as well, which makes sense. Now, looking at them, you can obviously see there's some slight differences. This one, you can tell, has the rotating cannons on the top, and this one does not, meaning that they are two different variants of the fighter tank. I know there is two variants of it. I'm gonna say this is obviously this is the episode 2 variant of it, and this is an episode 3 version of it. But yeah, this one is more Battlefront. If you guys played the old Star Wars Battlefront 2, or even the Clone Wars game, you pilot the fighter tanks. The old Clone Wars game, you're actually piloting this fighter tank, which is the older version of it, the older model. But I don't know if they're actually different sizes, but if they are, then you can just say one is the older model and one is the newer model, instead of saying they're both the same model but different sizes. Or you could say this is like a command version of it if you have more than one of these, which I actually have 2 of the new fighter tanks, just because I like the set itself. But okay, on to some of the comparison, obviously. So just a quick little side view here. I'll move back. You can see that the older one is quite a bit taller than the newer one in regards to everything, but that's going to be said, speaking it's half the pieces. What do I want to look at first? I want to look at, let's look at this side section here so I can get it all. So like I mentioned in the review, the older one, you actually get the angled side, where the newer one, you just get the impression of the angled side, because they don't actually use any hinge plates or anything, or joints, that's the word I was looking for. They don't use any of that in the newer one, it's just flat. But you still have the slope here with the plates, I mean the slope pieces, but I still think this looks better, in my opinion. It gives it more of a authentic feel, I guess. But on the plus side, this new one, you see it's a green piece, where this one you slap a couple stickers on it. Now, in the newer one compared to the older one, you still have a sticker here on this side, and you still have a sticker here. I'm gonna rotate this up. So you keep the stickers on. They're pretty close to the same sticker, as you can tell, but this one's obviously using a smaller variant of the sticker. Not that that really matters. But just finishing up the back, you see they used a couple red pieces here, where this one they just opted to use white, since they only were using, actually they used the same pieces here. These 2 white pieces are the same as these 2 white pieces, but that just shows you that they cut off 3 studs from each of the sides at least. That's not even counting the body. And then the last thing that they changed about the sides is the older one, if you rotate this up, you get 3 flick-fire missiles, which I thought was a cool little feature. This one, you don't have that. You just have a little wrench on one side. You can put the blaster on the other side. So there's that. And then on the front side, you also get this little opening thing here where you can store a blaster. You don't have that on the newer one. But taking a look at the guns, which I'm going to move on to next, since we're on the side still. It's kind of hard to show because the new one is so big, or the older one is so big. They both do move up and down, so they retained that feature. I actually like the newer one, the design of the gun a little better. I like this gray joint gear type piece. The old one uses a big clunky 4x4 round brick. But the design of the gun itself is very nice on here. I like the different ways of building. I was going to say different shape, but it is a slightly different shape. As you can tell, the gun is a little bigger here at the end. They could have done the same thing here, but they decided against it. I mean, they used the same piece, but they decided against adding this extra stuff to the newer one. And they changed the color of the guns from gray to black. But along with this, there is no other feature other than they moving down, up and down. On the newer one, the feature is a stud shooter on each side. So there's that. Now, looking at the front, looking at them like this, you can see just how much bigger the older one is. It just dwarfs it. But if I tilt it like this, you can see you have your Republic signs on the front, and they kept the shape the same. But look how much smaller the Republic symbols are. Now they're just sticker detail and a little further back than the other one is. They also changed this shape from the older one. They made it sleeker. They took like this section, the whole command section, they kind of pushed it down, made it sleeker looking. That's why I like the newer one a little more when it comes to that regard, just because I feel it gets the shape better. This one is very big and bulky, and don't get me wrong, I do like it, but I don't know, something about it makes it look, it's a little too big and bulky, whereas this one is right to the point. But there is a flaw with this one that we'll get to in a second. Now, in the older one, you can open up this and you can see the engine pieces. This one you don't get to do that, you just get some more stickers, and that's about it. Rolling to the back. Oh, first off, just a quick look at the undersides of each of them. The older one uses much bigger wheels and the newer one uses much smaller wheels. I feel the newer one could have used the same type of wheels to make it look like it's floating a little more, but that's not a huge issue. Anyway, looking at the back, they both retain the door here at the back, and you can open it for both of them. Obviously they use different pieces, like this is one of those little mini fridge pieces, and they brick built that whole section. You can see there's a huge section here that the minifigure could actually walk in. This one you're just storing some studs. But what are you going to expect for the size? Now this also leads to the feature. The older one, if you push the seat down and close that, you can get the clone trooper inside. And then if you open it, he obviously comes back up. That was one of the highlights of it. And since we have them both open, you can see the slight alteration of this piece to this one. I actually like the way this one looks, but overall this one is built better. It's a little stronger. Not that this is going to break anytime soon, but it doesn't come up as easy as the other one does. And it, when you have the clone trooper not in it, I just feel like it covers the space better. There's less room that you can see. I mean, that's just my opinion, to be fair, but I just feel the older one covers it a little better. But they are the same size dish, which is kind of strange. Speaking, the older one is so much bigger, and then the newer one you think they'd use a smaller piece or brick build it differently. But they do not. And I can't get my clone trooper back in there. Oh, now I broke the chair. Awesome. Anyway, like I mentioned before, the guns are just gone on the newer one. They don't even attempt to do it, and the antennas are you know, like twice the size of the older one than they are the newer one. But that's just because of scaling and blah, blah, blah. The last feature of the older one, and here's where there's a slight flaw. Oh, why don't I just do this to put the dude in? Let me just get this guy back up where he needs to go. Okay. The older one, you can take the top off, and you can put 2 clone troopers in there. As you can see, there's 2 guys in there, and they're, you know, it's not super roomy, but there's enough room. This one, you can't take the top off, and that's it for space. You can fit a clone trooper in there, but I don't think it looks as nice. That's just my opinion. But let me see. I'll take our little clone trooper dude. See if I can even fit him in there. Because I've actually never put a trooper in here all the way to see if it closes. It does close all the way with the trooper inside. And can we see him through there? Not really. While they do give you the illusion of glass with the clear wedge slopes, you still can't really see the dude inside. So that's where I'd say there's a small fault in the newer one, is while it looks good, it's a little too small and kind of loses the effect when you're trying to put a clone trooper inside. Anyway, that is it for the clone fighter tank comparison. If you missed the older one, I'd say obviously pick up the newer one. They're very different sets overall, but the newer one just looks, it's just designed better, and I feel it's overall a better set. While the old one is great, you'll probably spend a ton of money trying to get one, and you can just buy 2 of the newer ones and call it a day, and you probably still wouldn't even get an older one for the cost of 2 of the newer ones. But that's just me. I do like both sets, and the fighter tank was, while it's never been in any of the official movies, it is still a very cool set nonetheless. Anyway, thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And like I said in the beginning, there'll be another comparison in a little bit of the new Jedi Starfighter with hyperdrive. Thanks for watching.